Welcome to Authentically You Podcast, the podcast that dives deep into a transformative journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-expression. I'm your host, Kirsty Hankin, and I'm here to guide you on a path towards embracing your true, unapologetic, authentic self. In this podcast, we'll embark on a quest to uncover the secrets to breaking free from societal expectations, shredding the masks we wear, and stepping into our own power. Each episode will explore the questions and challenges that our listeners face on their personal journeys, providing practical insights and heartfelt advice. But it doesn't stop there. Authentically You Podcast goes beyond just answering your questions. We're here to introduce you to a diverse lineup of incredibly knowledgeable professionals who will share their expertise, wisdom, and experiences. We'll bring you thought-provoking interviews that will inspire and empower you. This is Authentically You Podcast, unleashing life on your own terms. I'm Kirsty Hankin, and together, let's unlock the power within and live life authentically. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. We're in this together. Welcome to Authentically You. I'm so happy for you to be here today, and I'm excited about having our guest here. Today's guest has done a lot of deep healing and inner work to let go of the noise that wasn't hers by connecting to her true self, her soul, to learn how to accept and like and love who she is and who she is becoming. She has learned how to separate others' projections of her from what she thinks of herself, turned her own thoughts about herself into empowering, loving thoughts, released the old narrative that kept playing in her head, stepped into her power of being herself without fear, and is now living life in a way that makes her happy. Welcome to the show, Ange Graciela.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
Yay! So tell us about yourself. Tell us about how your Authentically You journey started. When did you know things needed to change? How did it start for you?
Let's see. Let me think about that. So I've always kind of been a little like out of the box. Like, and when I was a teenager, I was like a punk rocker. I like art and stuff like that. So I've always been kind of like, not normal or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it was when I started going into like the work field and having to conform so much and follow so many rules where I started to lose myself. And I was like, I was just like, well, I gotta climb the corporate ladder. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And just getting swept away with like that whole societal idea of what life should be.
Yeah.
And finally, I think I was in, like, I could feel that in my 20s and in my 30s. And then finally in my 30s, I was like, you know what? This isn't making me happy. I'm working way too much. And then I just started like doing a lot of like self-healing, discovering stuff about like Reiki and energy healing and magic and just like all this. It was like opened up a whole new world to me with like what I was missing out on all that time.
Wow.
So I just kept going down that path and then became Reiki level 1 and then 2 and then eventually became a Reiki master. And then I always wanted to heal others too, because I've always been like had that inside me to help other people.
Yeah.
And it brings me joy. It's like, and so I was like, how can I do that? I want to do that. Like, so I started to become a Reiki master, but then I realized I had stuff in myself I had to heal. You know what I mean? It's like, and then did a lot of inner work, inner child healing, just peeling off the layers that weren't mine, and then spending a lot more time with myself and meditation. And then eventually, it's been like a few years since that hardcore journey started. And then I started a business and I offer the same things that have helped me, what I've learned through my experiences for other people through my own energy and my gifts.
That's incredible. We've got similar backgrounds and the fact that it wasn't till in my 30s wasn't my 30s, late 30s, let's say late 30s, we won't say 40s. I did Reiki, and I got Reiki master, but I still didn't feel quite my true authentic self, and I needed to continue doing the layers as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's funny that we have the same sort of thing in this, but I think it's an ever
Oh yes, ever evolving.
yes.
Yeah. That's one thing. Like, okay, so when I started my healing journey, I thought, okay, cool, I'm gonna heal for a few years and now I'm gonna be solid. No, it's continuing.
Yeah,
It's like it's
it is
always.
really okay. It's
Yeah.
like when something once you get something sorted and you're sort of healed that part of it, it's like, cool, now here's another one. Now heal this
Yes.
part. So okay, great. So it is a lifelong journey, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a beautiful journey though, if you allow it to be. You know what I mean? Like, don't get stuck in the shadow work too much. You know, you gotta come up for air. And just realizing that at least the challenges that do arise, um, with years of healing behind us, it helps us to navigate it better.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It's not like such a tower moment. It's like oh, okay, I just gotta like pivot this way a little bit and it's all right. You know, you're still on solid ground. You're not like it's not like the carpet's getting pulled from underneath you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I love that. And when you were a punk rocker, love that.
Well, still,
And
you know.
and when we do move away from being our true selves, which I think happens to everyone through either school or out of school, moving into jobs, you are expected to be a certain person, expected to, work a certain way. Um, how do you move away? How did you move away from that? What made you start that? And how does people that know that they're stuck in that move towards their authentic self?
Um, let's see. How did I start that? Well, I think you get to a point where you, when you're so swept up in like work and that kind of lifestyle, and just like, oh, and I was also in school too. I was taking my bachelor's to become an HR manager. You know what I mean? So I was just all that. And so
Yeah.
I wind up stopping school. I I made the decision. I was like, I can't do this. This isn't my path. It doesn't feel right to me. It didn't feel right in my body, my mind. It felt like pressure. And when you get, I think a person knows when they get to that point where they're like, all right, let's make a change. And then how to navigate that is unique to everyone.
Yeah.
But you got to find stuff that you resonate with that makes you so happy and joyful. It makes you feel like you're at home, and that's when you know you're finding your path, your breadcrumbs
Mhm.
to your path.
That's what it's all
Yeah, that's
about,
how I
isn't
did
it?
it.
Finding that happiness and that joy. Because once you're in that happiness and joy, you're at a different frequency. You're at
Yes.
a different vibration. So when you think about, for the audience, when you think about when you're sad, you feel low. But when you are really excited and having so much fun, you're at a whole nother level. And that's where we're going to
Yeah.
try to stay at that high vibration, so that we are continuing that journey at that vibration. So we're bringing more good stuff, more fun stuff, more
Yeah.
great stuff into our lives. That's right, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes. And so it's like, even okay, so like I think that has to do with like inner child too, because when
Yeah.
you're connected with your inner child, you actually have more joy. It's like you see kids playing and they don't care about people are thinking. They're
Yeah.
just having fun. They're in the
Yeah.
moment and they're present. And I think that's something like as adults, you know, going to the grind every day, we lose that part of ourselves. And so then when we try to embrace it, you know, we get those looks of judgment or whatever, and then you close back up and you know, but then you just have to every day just do something for your inner child, be more playful. And then eventually when you're just in that energy so much, it's going to become like second nature. And even if people are giving you goofy looks, you're not going to care.
Mm-hmm. What I tell some of my clients is that you just need to keep practicing until it becomes part of you. And
Yes.
the one thing for me, as I've got a 3-year-old little boy who is the most energetic thing in the world, but we won't go there. but he has brought out my inner child. And I still catch myself every now and then like going, oh no, I can't do that, there's people over there. I'm like, how? Who cares what they think? Like, really? If they do have a problem with me having fun with my son, that's their problem, not mine, is it?
Exactly.
But we do seem to take things on and make it our problem when it's actually not, right?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like we take it personal.
Yes.
And it's like we have to just, like, I guess, detach from that.
Yeah. And when you said when you've moved away from societal expectations, how do you change that mindset? How have you done it so you don't care about what people think?
I think that okay, so don't get me wrong, there can be some days where you're feeling like how you just mentioned, like a little like aware of people judgments, whatever. But I think that whenever I start to feel nervous or I want to hold myself back from something, I remind myself that, you know what, I'm here in this life right now. I'm going to have fun with it. I'm not going to let something or fear hold me back. I got to take these opportunities in my life. And I want to be able to, when I'm old, be like, yo, I lived that life that I wanted to live, and I'm freaking proud of it. I'm stoked.
Yes. Let's do it.
Do it.
I was just thinking, fear is sort of just a safety net. Like there is fear that you should actually really listen to, if there is
Oh yeah, of
dark
course.
alley.
Yeah, be safe, be smart about things.
Yeah. But then there's the safe it's a fear of, what people may think, or how you're not sure if you're going to be able to do it. It's a different kind of fear. And that fear is to be explored. And that fear is to be overcome. Because what's on the other side of fear is the like complete freedom. And you're like, oh my God, that was so amazing, or whatever the situation is. So overcoming fear is freedom. And it's difficult to do, but if you take little steps and try it, first of all, I guess you need to be aware of it, don't you? So self-aware of what's happening with you. Have you had any self-awareness stories, or where you've caught yourself going, oh, why am I thinking this? Why am I doing this?
Let's see. I think like sometimes I've been in situations where I've played myself small because I didn't want to like outshine other people. I felt bad. And so that's something I had to heal. I had to be like, you know what? It's not my fault if this is my personality. This is who I am. If it's I'm making them uncomfortable, it's not my problem, So it's like, not to sound arrogant or rude or anything like that. It's just, that has nothing to do with me.
So were you trying to protect those people? Were you trying to sort of numb yourself down to help those people?
It's kind of like when, let me think, like, well, sometimes it could like make people upset too. You know what I mean? So like, just to kind of avoid those kind of situations too, just to kind of like, oh, I'm not going to be myself just so I don't ruffle any feathers or whatever. But you know what? If those people aren't meant to be around you, then they're not aligned. Plain and simple. And it's not to be, a B word or anything like that, but it's just, you got to stand your ground.
Absolutely. You do. I've teached a couple of teens where they have had not altercations, but disagreements with people, and they haven't said their side. And I've said to them, you have to stand up for yourself, but you can stand up for yourself in a nice way. Like if someone says something to you, you can say whatever you feel in a nice way. It's like when you say, just making something up in my head, don't stand there. If someone says don't stand there, that can be quite, but you can say, hey, do you mind moving aside because of the situation? There's different ways of saying things that help any situation. You can say the most horrible thing in a very nice way, and I'm sure some people, I think that might be narcissistic, but things can be said in a nice way, so you don't have to feel bad. You don't have to make people feel bad or sad or upset or angry. It's all about way that you present how to say it.
Yes.
Isn't it? So how have you overcome that? It's like when you have been around people and you've been sort of holding yourself back, how did you become more confident in speaking your mind, saying what you wanted to say?
I think I got tired of feeling like I was being like treated like a little mouse in a corner. And I'm like, I'm not a mouse in a corner. I got tired of that crap. So I was like, no, the things are going to change.
And how did people respond to you? Like when you actually stood up for yourself?
That's the thing too. Like when you start to speak up for yourself more and have boundaries, and when people in your life are not used to that, they can get offended.
Mm-hmm. But that's not
They
your
don't like
problem,
it.
is it?
No.
Yeah.
So it's like you just gotta stand your ground. As long as you're having healthy boundaries and what you're wanting and talking about is like positive and good, it should, it's okay to establish. It's not like going off the wall or being wild or whatever, being crazy,
Yeah.
but it's like those are just actually, that was a challenge, having boundaries and realizing I realized I had discovered that I was a people pleaser, and I was like, oh no.
Yes.
So I remember I was like, I hate people pleasers. And I was like, I'm one? No way. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that was like a hard one for me. I was just like, oh my goodness, how do I stop doing that? So it's really baby steps. You just gotta day by day. And sometimes you're like on top of the world on that. You're like strong, but then
Yeah.
sometimes you slide a little bit and you just go back up and you just keep at it.
Yeah. And when you do go down a little bit, which always happens, do ask the question, what made today different? What made me slip up today? What made me, and actually try and check in with yourself and find out why that changed, because that's really important for the future. It might not happen again.
Yes,
You ask these
definitely.
questions. So you said you're connected with your soul. How do you do that? Tell us.
So, all right. So connecting with your soul and like your higher self, it's like it's really a magical experience. It's like it's meditation. I connected through meditation, and you see all these different visions. And oh man, it was wild. I had this meditation, and I wind up seeing like my soul self. And it was like really weird. And it was like glowing. And I could feel how it felt. I don't know if you could feel that right now, but
Yeah, I can.
yes, okay, you get it. Well, that's it. And that's how I can explain it. But anyways, it's hard to explain it. But it feels so warm and loving and kind, and like you just feel safe, and like there's no worries in the world. You just like connected to the universe, man. It's like it's a wonderful feeling. I'm feeling that right now.
Yeah. Wonderful, beautiful. It's so funny because we all have different feelings, and I felt yours, and it's exactly that, but I get sort of tingles all through my body.
Yes, I'm getting those too. Yes.
Yeah. And you can just feel it radiating. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful feeling. Meditation. How important is meditation in your journey? And what do you think about people that say that they can't meditate?
I was actually one of those people that couldn't meditate. I would hear about people meditating and I'd be like, wow, I wish I could do that. And so it really is practice, because my mind used to just race 100 miles an hour, and it's like I would try to sit through like a 20-minute or half an hour meditation. I'd just be like fidgeting around and just my thoughts were going. And so I just, do like 2 to 5 minutes. And then 10 to 15.
Yeah.
And then now I can meditate for quite some time. It's really enjoyable. But yeah, I would recommend that. And then binaural beats.
Yeah.
They help to get you into like that theta state.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I made an oil to help me get into my meditative state too.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. And I think that's really good. Like small steps. I guess small steps of everything in life is going to get you to the big result. It's like,
but it really helps with stress.
Yeah.
It really helped me with stress. And then also I got so used to meditating that whenever I was in like a stressful work situation, I could ground real quick.
Nice. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
does once you, yeah, I love that. When I find myself sort of all over the place when I'm trying to meditate, I'm like, okay, ground myself. And I call back, excuse me, I call back my energies. So, you know, every person that we speak to, we've connected a little energy cord to them. And I just call a little back and I can actually feel it. Like it just goes, and I'm like, that's better. All right, okay, now I can start
Like
meditating. And that's where I
full.
think a lot of people are sort of stuck when they're saying, I can't meditate. It's because their mind is like going 100 miles an hour. They're thinking of this. The energies are still connected to all the things around them that they've touched, spoken to
Yes.
during the day. So if you call those back, it's a lot easier. And as you said, little steps. It's like when you want to run a marathon, you're not going to just go out, okay, I'm going to run a marathon in a couple of months, but to practice, I'll just go run a marathon today. You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
You will fail. So it's little steps. It's little steps in everything. I love that. So meditation, how important do you think meditation is?
I recommend it. It's highly important. It's like if you can do it daily, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Myself, I try to do it 3 to 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever routine's good for, you don't want to get burnt out on meditation or healing either.
Yeah. Absolutely. And oh yeah, I think meditation is such a massive key to connecting with, like you said, soul and your higher self and your guides. Do you know of any other ways that you can connect with them?
That's a good question. I was going to say there's different types of meditation too. You don't just like you have to just sit and lay down or with your eyes closed or listen to binaural beats. You can do like candle meditation. You stare at the candle flame, or
Mm-hmm.
even when you're taking a bath or a shower, you can be in a meditative state, or going for a walk, hiking, whatever, like nature, doing art. Um, that's really good for opening you up for downloads too.
Yeah, love the
Yeah.
download. My download place is the shower.
Yeah, I get a lot of ideas and I'm like, huh.
And then the other day I was doing some what was it? I was cleaning something, vacuuming maybe. And I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. Getting a download when I'm vacuuming. So it can be any time. And the other thing with connecting with soul and your higher self and your guides, they're always there. They're always there. So even if you just go, hey, how you guys doing? Practice doing that, you should be able to hear, or you will hear eventually. But the
Yeah,
meditation is so incredibly powerful in getting your body and your mind in a stage of relaxation to actually make those voices so much clearer and hearing them better. Like, do you
yeah.
agree? Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Also, like when you higher your vibration, you're able to connect to higher vibrational energies and like
Yes.
angels and other deities and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Yeah. And how do you know, belief is a massive thing for a lot of people. Like I know I went through a big stage where I was like, yeah, am I talking to them? Am I, like, is this real? I don't know. Did you ever go through that? And how did you
Yes.
start believing?
Okay, so I just did a lot of research too. And
Mm-hmm.
then what else? So I learned that like so I've been an empath intuitive my whole life and I didn't really know that.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
was just normal to me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So then I started seeing like flashes of images. Like I remember one time I had a flash of an image of Archangel Raphael. And I was like, huh. And then I saw like a sparkle, a green sparkle and a white sparkle. I was like, what is that? I was like, did I just really see that? Like
Yeah.
it was before I was gonna go to bed. So then I had talked to someone else that's intuitive. And I was like, so what do you think about that? Like, you know what I mean? And then they're like, yeah, it's happening. I was like, whoa. So it's like also too, I remember one time I called Archangel Michael and I could feel him right next to me. I was like, it's yeah, it's wild, but
Yeah.
it felt like so like I'm getting like goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
So you get goosebumps, you feel like warm, you feel all like, whoa.
Yeah.
So that's how you start to like trust yourself and your intuition and like also seeing signs. You can ask universe or your benevolent real guides and protectors for signs and stuff like that. So you can start like your relationship with them. How do you want them to communicate with you? And one thing too, it's like sometimes people can see with their eyes, like like,
Mm-hmm.
but I prefer not to because I think that just freaked me out a little too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'll see things here and there, but I was like, all right, now.
So you put a boundary up for that, did you?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can have boundaries with your deities and your guides for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. What other boundaries have you thinking about being your authentic self? What other sort of boundaries have you had to put up in place to make sure that you are still sticking to being your true self?
My boundaries, like, okay, so I used to like overextend myself a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where I didn't have any time for myself or could rest or whatever because I just wanted to help everybody. And so that's when I was like, when I'm sticking to my guns is when I say, no, I can't do this. Or, you know what, let's make it for another time. Or even if you have something scheduled or you have like a lunch day with your friend or whatever, and the day of, and you're not feeling good, you have to speak up and just be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I really gotta do this for myself. I'm not feeling that great. Let's reschedule. So that's like me sticking to my guns, like my boundaries.
Nice, nice. And have you had, I'm just thinking about when you've said, I've got to take care of myself. I can't actually make it to whatever it is. Have you lost or have people fallen away from your life when you have started becoming your true self?
Yes. It was hard at first,
Mm.
but looking at it now, I'm glad it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a blessing in disguise. You know, sometimes they were painful blessings in disguise,
Yeah.
but you just start to really recognize who your soul family and your soul friends are versus, you appeasing someone and then staying around because you're appeasing them.
Yeah. And yeah, so the people that are around you are the ones that are aligned with you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And anyone that's not aligned with your purpose, your journey, your whatever, they will fall away. And it is hard. It is really
It
difficult
is.
for some people. But if you keep thinking about being your true self, and this is you're aligning with your true self and aligning with the people that should be with you, keep that in mind. And
Yes.
other people, if you're holding on to something that is negative, even if it's a thought or um, something physical or a person, you are holding space for that thing. So you're once we release that, then you've created more space to bring more good in, more a positive
Exactly.
person, more beautifulness into your life, right?
Yes.
We just got
That's
to keep
perfect.
thinking, yeah, we just gonna need to keep thinking about those good things, even though sometimes it can take us away and losing like really close people to us or someone, something, keeping it aligned, keeping it true to yourself.
Even family members too.
Yeah.
It's like I was so because I have like a religious background and I have a couple of family members that are religious and I know that my path is does not align with what they believe in
Mm-hmm.
at
Yeah.
all. So I was like always worried about losing them because there's like I love them so much. But I had to just realize, you know what? I can't, how am I going to feel when I'm like 60, 80 years old and I didn't discover
Yeah.
my path or give myself a chance to live my life because of other people. And fortunately, they found out everything. We talked about it and it worked out. But still, I still started my business, started my Instagram, and put myself out there with like my magic and energy work and everything. And um, fortunately, it worked out. But for some people, you lose family members, friends,
Mm-hmm.
but it's part of it.
Yeah, it's part of the fear, I guess, as well. You can call it fear. because once you break free from that fear, it's freedom again. So it is, yeah, it's challenging and it's hard, but it is ultimately the best thing for you. As hard as it is to say.
Yeah.
Transformational journeys can be filled with highs and lows, as we talked about. How do you recommend listeners stay resilient and committed to their growth, especially during challenging times?
I think that, like, to stay resilient, it's like, okay, what do I do for myself whenever there's some times where I'm just like, oh, I think I just remind myself of how far I've come and how strong I really am.
That's brilliant.
And you keep building on that, and you anchor yourself so much that you can't be shaken.
Unshakable. I love it.
Yes.
That is brilliant. When you look back at what you've accomplished, what you've achieved, the goals that you've smashed, the goals that are just ahead of you, that is always going to motivate you and keep you moving forward. I love that.
Exactly. It's like you think about like your past and the different trials you've been through in every decade of your life. It's like it's all built you to be stronger.
It has. It really has. And everything has been a lesson, hasn't it?
Yes.
What's it a lesson? What's the best lesson that you've learned? I'm trying to think of mine as well.
Best lesson I've learned. I just heard let go and have fun.
Yeah, nice.
That's the
Nice.
best lesson. It really is. It really is. Because I just think like how often are we all so uptight and stressed out and worried? It's like, nope, let go, have fun, because hey, it's the human experience.
Absolutely. I think for me, it really has been, and I think it's probably because it's really been the last couple of years, and I'm still slipping, but coming back into it is, who cares what people think?
Yes.
Who cares? Who really cares? And sometimes when you actually speak up, like you were talking about earlier, or you just do the thing that you are a little bit scared of, there is no reaction. There's no one says anything, no one looks at you funny, no one does anything. It's all in your head. That's the
Yes.
funny part when you get that, you're like, duh. Why didn't I just do this sooner? Yay. All fun and games, this journey, isn't it?
Yes, for sure.
When we were talking earlier about people pleasing, it's so funny. I've been a people pleaser all my life. And that was a thing that same with you. It got me like, me? I'm not a people pleaser, am I? Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And it's quite funny how you come to realize that, and when you do realize it, how difficult it is to move from yes to no, and actually looking after yourself. But it is so important. And once you get a couple of no's out there, it becomes easier. And it's not to say that you say no every time, like if you've got space for that thing, but it's quite a difficult journey, that one, I found. How did you find the no, changing to no's?
I'd say my throat would get a little tight sometimes.
Mm.
So I did like you gotta heal that throat chakra,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
Yeah, I remember being so, like, nervous and feeling a little shaky and, like, establishing my boundaries and all that, and I was just like, "Oh, man." But now that I look at it now, it's just like, it's normal.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel scary anymore,
Yeah.
and then also too, you gotta, like, not take it personal when people get offended or think that, like, you're trying to be like better than them or you're a B word or you're this because you're taking care of yourself. You're showing yourself respect and having boundaries
Absolutely.
because sometimes they don't have that for their own self.
Yeah.
And so then there you go with the projection,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So when they're having an issue with you saying no, they have something to deal with. They've got an onion layers to
Yes.
unravel. They've got
Yeah.
healing to do themselves, not you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, this journey is so incredible. Like you're learning about yourself on the daily. I feel like I'm learning on the daily. And it's just a magical, scary, but magical, challenging, but magical journey that is just the most incredible thing. I'm so glad that. So a bit of a background, my sister's fiance passed away, and I did CPR on him for what it felt like hours, which maybe like half an hour, and I spent 7, I'm being told 9, maybe it was 9 then. Okay, 9 years after that, sort of grieving for not necessarily him, but for my sister who lost her partner, and she was pregnant at the time, so, and she had a 2-year-old, so they didn't get, anyway. So it took me so long. I was a completely different person. I was grieving. I didn't handle it. I didn't do anything about it. Miserable, angry, snappy person. And till I realized, oh, this is I don't even like the person that I am. It's time to like try and figure out how to get back to who I was. I don't know if it's possible, but I'm going to give it a go. And that's 9 years. That's a long time before realizing, but it's obviously the journey that I needed, because now I'm incredible. Look at me now.
Exactly.
And I'm teaching everyone the things that I've learned the hard way. And it's just a magical journey that I'm on. And it's just amazing. How do you feel about your journey?
I feel similar. It's like this going through those like heavy trials of loss and this getting to that other bright side of it. It's like once you get through, like I'm gonna say like when someone starts healing, like it's scary, it's uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like that for myself. But I just kept going, 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 and then now I'm looking at the other side of it, and it doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah.
It does get better. So that's like my message to myself, like don't give up, and to
Yeah.
everybody else, like don't give up.
How do you get someone that is starting and then they're like, oh, this isn't working, when it's not just like a one-off or a two-off
Oh, you
session or
can't, it's not
whatever?
instant gratification most of the time.
Mm.
It does take a while. On some cases it's kind of like manifestation. It's like you're going to want to manifest certain things, you're going to have to do like the steps towards it. You got to be patient.
Yeah.
You got to keep going, you're going to get there. But
Yeah. That's
it's
my
kind of like anything,
expectation.
like an athlete training.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have to keep going with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you fail as an athlete,
Yeah.
you can see them fail and still continue. So that's what you need to do. I like that. That's good. So if someone really wants to work with you, Ange, how can they work with you? What
I
offers
have
do
a
you have?
website. I do Reiki, I do timeline clearing, and I do core cutting release sessions. I do high priestess sessions, and what else? Oh, I do actually do couples sessions. So like if there's a couple that wants to do like healing together,
No.
I do like Reiki or any type of modality that they would like to choose from. I also have ritual products. That's like my and then I also do spells too, so to bring in that type of energy into your life. So I do self-love spells, road opening prosperity spells, and balance and peace spells.
Nice. So you
If
do
you
you do
want
that
custom,
with
I do
them or
custom
for them?
packages too.
Yeah. Do you do the
But yeah,
spells
I
for
do.
them? With
Yes, I do the
no.
spell for them, and I
Okay.
email them, I show them pictures and all that stuff.
Awesome.
Yes.
And I understand you have a little freebie for the audience. Tell us about
Yeah,
that.
I have a YouTube channel, and I made a 30-minute Reiki energy clearing video for anyone that wants to just like pop it on, relax. It can help clear your house too. So,
Nice.
yep. And then I also
Awesome.
do I have some energy healing videos that are shorter, and then I also do like my vibe of the week. I do like intuitive messages each week. So I'll either use
Nice.
oracle cards, tarot, or just intuitive message.
Brilliant. And we'll put all of that information into the show notes so anyone that wants to get in touch and have a look and get the freebie can do that. So it's all going to be in there for you guys. And the last little bit, Ange, is the fun bit. Are you ready?
Okay.
The first question. If authenticity were a color, what color would it be and why?
I'm seeing yellow and red. Why? Okay, so yellow, I think it's like bright and reminds me of the solar plexus, and then red, the root chakra. So I am, I am my authentic self, your confident self. So that's why I thought of it.
Nice. I love that. If you could choose an animal to express your true self, which animal would you choose and how does it represent you?
Oh, wow. I'm thinking like multiple animals. That's a tricky one for me. I love so many animals. I love hummingbirds. They're
Nice.
so freaking like cute and just so like playful and kind of like fairy-ish, and it's
Yes.
like they have their own little magical energy to them. I love like
They do.
hummingbirds.
Oh, that's a nice animal. I like that. If you had a magic wand and everyone in the world had to follow one ruling that you created, what would it be?
And everybody had to follow the rule. Okay, let's see. I have two rules.
All right, I'll let you have
Right.
two.
It would be showing each other understanding, love, and respect. So those three.
Nice.
That'd be awesome.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. And the last thing, what last words do you have for the listeners? Any advice, any downloads that are coming through? Anything you feel super important about being authentically you?
Let's see. It's something you won't regret doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so you regret not doing it. So remind yourself of that.
Yeah.
Each time you want to hold yourself back from doing the cool, good things you want to do for yourself. Just remind yourself about that. And also that there's not a time frame for anything, but a motivator for myself is time. You know what I mean? Even though time isn't real, quote unquote, but so do those things you want to do and spend time with those people that you care about and just have fun and enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride. I like that. Ending on that.
Enjoy the journey.
Oh, that's amazing, Ange. Thank you so much for being the most amazing guest speaker on our podcast. It's been amazing. You have given us so much information, and hopefully people have got some gold nuggets for them to take away. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful, and I feel so emotional.
In a good way.
Really cool. Yes, in a good way. In a good way.
Just had to check. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. We will see you in the next episode. Have a lovely day.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Authentically You Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained some valuable insights. If you'd like to stay connected with us, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform and follow us on social media. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Kirsty Impact Coach, or Become Authentically You on the Facebook group. We'd love to hear your thoughts, feedback, and ideas for future episodes. Feel free to drop us a message or leave a review. Your input means the world to us as we continue to grow and improve. Remember, living authentically is a journey, and we're so glad and grateful to have you with us on this path of self-discovery and personal growth. Until next time, always remember to be true to yourself, embrace your uniqueness, and live life unapologetically, because you are truly remarkable just the way you are. This is Kirsty, signing off on the Authentically You podcast. Take care and keep shining bright.